Hi there, welcome back to the Kenny Veach M Cave mystery missing person case. Today I want to provide to you an interesting supposed sighting which occurred in 2021. A person reaching out claiming to have spotted a person that looks like Kenny Veach. Now, we've had a few of these occurrences over time where there's been random comments left, right and centre, such as on YouTube where people have been pointing out a possible sighting here, there. We've even seen it from the likes of Sean Horlacker, a key individual within the case who's been out there hiking, searching the Mojave Desert for Kenny and M Cave. And previously in the past, Sean Horlacker claimed that when he was driving by in his area, he came across a homeless individual that looked like Kenny. And at that time, Sean was very certain it was Kenny Veach. But upon looking back, retracing the area, nowhere to be seen. And we've seen that pattern to an extent within the case. More so strangers reaching out. At one point, I think people claiming Kenny Veach in Canada. The odd one saying Kenny Veach, New Mexico. Bit all over the place, right? But what I want to do today is focus on one of the possible sightings because it's not received enough attention. I don't like the idea of brushing things aside when it could be wasted opportunity. So today I want to present to you a previous sighting in 2021 which was posted on Facebook. It didn't receive enough attention because where it was posted was a place where not many people are active on, nor majority would see. So that's why I'm making this video today, so you can see for yourself. And I can also apply it to Google Earth Maps, right? We can look at the area, maybe street view footage, just to get an idea of the area, and maybe at the end I can conclude. You yourself can leave your comments down below whether you agree or disagree with this, whether you agree in general that Kenny Veach is still alive somewhere, homeless or not, but still alive. And if not that, you think he's dead, missing, still in the desert, let me know down below. You want to check out some additional links, they will be in the comment section, the pinned comment, if you want to support the channel. As for previous video coverage, you want to catch up there, feel free to do so. Easily available on my channel page, as well as my playlist available, which will have all the videos there, 270 plus. In addition, the I symbol top right corner of the screen will redirect you to the last Kenny Veach video, what I did. And with regards to that, I'm going to be at least looking at the comments in today's video to catch up there, answer questions, etc. If you are interested in the previous Kenny Veach video I did, in a brief summary to gauge your interest, it was to do with looking at key important patterns when it comes to Kenny Veach's previous hikes, possible previous hikes which were deleted footage from his YouTube channel. Some of you will be familiar with that. Just looking at how prepared was he? Did it go back, did it go backwards downhill? Did he change in behavior and how he protected himself? As said, interesting patterns found. You want to see more about that and look at previous photos of Kenny Veach. Be sure to click the I symbol, top right corner of the screen for that analysis. As said, welcome to those that are currently here in the live premiere. Appreciate it. If any of you want to share your thoughts, opinions, reactions live and raw here in the chat box, feel free to do so. The order of how we're going to do things today, I'm going to get straight into the Facebook post to present to you, read it, analyse, then go on to Google Earth to pinpoint the area or roughly look at the area, and then we can look at the comments, okay? Let's head on over to the Facebook post. Here we are, we got like a little photo shot taken from the Facebook page, which is to do with information on Kenny Veach and searches, which is no longer active. And you can tell by this post here, only 2 comments seen by 25 people, but never really applied on YouTube or maybe not applied in real life. But a person called Heather Rose Matthews, okay? Just understand that this Facebook page is a public one and publicly viewable, just in case you were wondering. Heather Rose Matthews says, "Hi there, was trying to reach Kenny's family. There is a homeless man in Barstow, California, where I live, who has a striking resemblance to Kenny Veach. Maybe somebody could check it out. A distinguishing factor was the homeless man's height. He isn't super tall, so I was curious as to how tall Kenny Veach is. This guy definitely wasn't any taller than 5'7" or 5'8". He has long hair down to his shoulders. Did Kenny drink alcohol? And that was posted 43 weeks ago. Jay Silverheels responds saying, well, it's not Kenny Veach. Yes, Kenny Veach drank heavily. Is that so? I wasn't quite aware of that. I think what we can also do is probably apply it to, if I can find it first of all, the nam-us of Kenny Veach to compare height possibly. I mean, hair can differ from time and the length too, especially if you're homeless. Is there anything else there to highlight? Well, this person called Heather Rose Matthews was trying to reach out to Kenny's family. Well, Heather, if you're still around, you're still involved in this case or not, Susan Veach, sister-in-law to Kenny Veach, is present. So Susan, let me know your thoughts on this message by Heather. Do you agree with it or not? Are you willing to reach out to her, or is it not worthwhile? I just want to share this to spread more awareness at least, and you can react however you see fit, okay? But claiming a homeless man in Barstow, CA, I assume that means California, homeless, would that imply to this day he's still homeless if he was alive? Or has he passed ever since? Well, at least in 2022, it seemed as if he was possibly still alive with that phone call from his Facebook account in the DM messenger towards Susan Veach, that random call made. So it could imply at least up to 2022 still around. But if Kenny was truly homeless, would he have like electronic devices to be able to access his Facebook or make a call there if he's homeless? And how could he pay for it, to keep using it, I wonder. See, this is what I mean. We might come across factors and elements which contradict one another, but it's a discussion, right? Making sense of it all as we go along. So Heather is saying that's where she lives, hence why she came across a homeless-looking man. Striking resemblance to Kenny Veach. Interesting. Wondering if anyone could check it out. Distinguishing factor was the height, not exactly tall. Okay. The bit about long hair down to shoulders, I mean, if you are homeless, you're probably not going to have your hair cut. You probably don't have any money to have your hair cut, and some people just let it grow, and naturally it just gets longer, right? Maybe once you get to a certain age, it kind of changes, but there's still a possibility at the time of Kenny 2014. The only thing to highlight, and this could be another counterpoint, when it comes to Kenny Veach's hair, it was Susan Veach that pointed out, saying that within the family also having curly hair, such as Kenny Veach. So with the curly hairstyle, I guess it contradicts this, because I don't think if a person had curly hair, that if they let it grow and grow, it wouldn't go long down to the shoulders. Your hair would have to be not curly for it probably to reach down to the shoulders instead of sticking up. So that's a possible contradiction there. Heather saying, did Kenny drink alcohol? So why would Heather ask that? Is it because she saw the homeless person drunk or drinking alcohol at the time and was confirming to see if that's what Kenny Veach used to participate in the past? Well, Silverheels responds saying, well, it's not Kenny Veach. Yes, Kenny Veach drank heavily. But I think what Heather is referring to here is asking, did Kenny drink or not? Because the homeless person she saw was drinking alcohol. So for Jay Silverheels to say, yes, Kenny Veach drank heavily, then it kind of matches that description. But then Silverheels contradicts himself by saying, it's not Kenny, but Kenny did drink. But this to think, did Kenny Veach drink heavily? Was Kenny Veach an alcoholic? I don't know personally. I'm not sure if it ever came up in discussion in the past or not. Susan Veach, or anyone else that's aware or knows Kenny, feel free to fill in the blanks to whether Kenny Veach was an alcoholic or not. The only thing I remember, and I think it was more to do with his workplace, was some coffee place or coffee bar, some kind of coffee branded van was parked outside his home sometime in 2013, I think. That was a year before going missing. I don't know why that coffee van was there. Was it delivering products? Was it inquiring about Kenny or something and the job itself, where it stands? I can't remember, but I'm just thinking of coffee. Is Kenny more of a coffee drinker, water, or alcoholic? Like, this is what I mean. Let's at least acknowledge one thing. We're aware that Kenny Veach does drink here and there, such as when Kenny in his hike was talking about usage of alcohol after his hike, returning back to his van, his vehicle, to drink a cold beer, and how he's done it in the past and it was really enjoyable after that long hike. But was he swigging constant bottles back to back? I don't know. We didn't see that. I mean, when we did see Kenny Veach drink some alcohol on that unreleased footage, he got back to his vehicle. I wouldn't say he was enjoying it. He looked in pain. He probably shouldn't have drunk it after being exhausted, dehydrated. Should have just had a bit of water. I mean, you could see his body language, facial expressions. He looked like he was in pain. I mean, I can show you a clip of it right now to put into perspective. Yeah, let me show you it right now.
Made it a point to drink very little water.
I mean, if you saw that footage for the very first time and didn't really know much about Kenny Veach, you could probably assume that he's not a heavy drinker due to how he reacted in that clip. But just take in mind that he did do about like a 10, 11-mile hike out there, which is pretty harsh and rough, and he was exhausted, as he said, and he only had limited water and only had so much when drinking, so he pushed himself a bit too far. Drinking alcohol wasn't a smart idea after returning back. It might have worked out for him in the past if the hike wasn't as demanding and he wasn't as dehydrated, but you could tell, you saw visually, the look and pain in his face. I mean, is there any difference between that situation and a heavy alcoholic drinker, regardless of pain and discomfort, they're just going to keep drinking at it over and over again? Would there be a difference? Would it be telling or not in that situation? I don't know. But at least what I'm aware of, I didn't think Kenny Veach was like a full-on heavy drinker alcoholic, unless I'm missing something. I mean, just look at Jace Silverheel's comment, unless he's seen or heard of his stuff. I mean, Susan Veach, if you want to clear it up, feel free to do so. I mean, yes, it does seem obvious that Kenny Veach consumes alcohol, but to what amount? I have no clue. What volume? Don't know. But I guess the reference by the person called Heather with a homeless person out there possibly drinking alcohol, to what extent? Not quite sure. I guess sometimes that can happen. Homeless people, drunk, alcoholics, getting into that habit because they've become homeless, or previously an alcoholic and it following through whilst they're homeless. Either way, I mean, it was just like a little characteristic she was pointing out at the time. But as I said, a little comparison or so. Looking back at the comment, the post by Heather saying about Kenny Veach, well, the person that she saw that had a striking resemblance to Kenny, the person, the homeless guy, was no taller than 5'8", 5'8" or under. Okay, let's take a brief look at Kenny Veach's Nam Us missing person profile report and see what height Kenny was at the time. Right, here we are, as you can see. In terms of actually finding the link to the website, pain in the arse, but luckily I've documented it in the past on my channel, and there was some comments on the website, well, just on Google. I don't know where it was, Cora, however you say it, and someone posted like a screenshot of it, so there you go. And, you know, relevant at the time. I don't know when this screenshot was actually taken, but you just take that into account. The main thing is Kenny Veach, his age at the time of going missing, 47 years old. First name Kenneth, last name Veach, no nicknames. Current age 55 years of age. Could be a bit older by now. His middle name Lee. Okay. Male. Weight 140 pounds. I guess that's somewhat okay. Race, ethnicity, white, Caucasian. Date of last contact, November 10th, 2014, as we said. Location, Las Vegas, Nevada. Nameless case created December the 9th, 2014. So why did it take over a month to get this database thing set up? Why did it take that long? Bit weird, right? If anyone knows answers, feel free to explain. But try and zoom in here. Can you see on the left-hand side of the screen? I can't really move it anymore. Height, 5'8", 68 inches. 5'8" kind of matches the description by Heather of that homeless person where she said no taller than 5'7" or 5'8" within that range. So 5'8" or below. Let's get that off, come on. And that says 5'8" as well. So the similarities there. As for the alcohol consumption, there's a few links there you could argue, but it depends what volume that's in question. The one difference I'd say that stands out, besides the place where the person's at, California, is that a sudden move compared to where he was at? I mean, I don't know what the distance is between the two places. I'm sure we can do a check on the maps shortly, right? I'd probably say just the hair. Even though we can't see the photo of the homeless person, because they're saying that it goes down to the person's shoulders. I can't imagine Kenny Veach's hair grown down to the shoulders with it looking a bit curly. It could develop maybe a bit of an afro at best. I want to know your thoughts anyway. Do you believe this is true? Do you believe Heather truly came across Kenny Veach or just someone that looked similar to him? Nevertheless, just to get an idea of the area, Barstow, California, we're going to go onto the maps right now to put things into perspective. So here we are on Google Earth. You wonder what's happened to the layout visually. Google Earth has updated both on mobile and desktop, so that's why it looks the way it does now. I think it's completely fucked up and ruined. You got these stupid boxes on the screen and they won't go away. So well done, Google, for ruining that, just like everything else. But we've got Barstow, California, a city called Barstow. Okay, I think I'm saying it correctly. This is the place where Heather came across a homeless individual. Now, I think there might be a little description here, maybe some photos. Barstow is a city in San Bernardino County, California, in the Mojave Desert of Southern California. So it's still associated with the Mojave Desert, just like in Nevada. So that's interesting. Located in the Inland Empire region of California, the population was 25,415 at the 2020 consensus, or the census. Barstow is an important crossroads for the Inland Empire and home to Marine Corps logistics base Barstow. Okay. Do we have any photos? Wow, even the photos are zoomed out as well. I don't like this. Basically, just looking at the photos of the area to get an idea of what it looks like and if it gauges any interest to people. Will it let me zoom in? No, it won't even let me zoom in. Wow, this is trash. You got Burger Kings in the background. Got a bridge there, 15 foot the height. I mean, if there was a homeless person in Barstow, is there a homeless community as well? Could Kenny Veach at the time, if it really was him, have been merging up with other homeless people? Or lone wolf, I wonder. Gas station there and a store as well. And as well, the question would be, is Kenny Veach, if it was him, still in this area or did he move on after 2021, I wonder? Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's. That's what the area looks like visually. Kind of flat, the buildings. Still got the mountain ranges in the background, desert terrain, familiar with Kenny Veach. So maybe the type of area, it's no surprise. I mean, as for surveillance, I'm sure there'll be cameras in the area. You see the distance ahead, the highway. Barstow Station. A lot of McDonald's symbols and Starbucks. Well, there you go, that's a good image. You got that cloud or sandstorm coming on in from the far left. Track marks on the ground, surrounding area. Could there be any M caves over in California? I don't know. Even if there was, it'd be completely different to the M cave hike because that's in Nevada. But could there be a possibility that at any point was Kenny Veach truly trying to confuse people? You never know. Maybe anything is possible. You got Dollar Tree, the store down there. 99, okay. AM, PM. Ah, interesting. So we've got an abandoned building here from the looks of it. So would Kenny Veach, if homeless, would he be literally out on the street or would he be seeking refuge such as an abandoned building? I wonder. Any homeless people, squatters in buildings like this within Barstow, California, I wonder. And, you know, if there's anyone in the chat, anyone watching this video from California within the area or nearby, let me know your thoughts and experiences, what the area is like. What do you think about the possibility of Kenny Veach being sighted out there? Do you think it's true or not? Trailers down there maybe? Not seen any RV parks. Touristy type. Oh wow, look at that distance out there. There's mountains and ridges and peaks, quite a lot of them. There's the main road. Another highway photo. Yep. Route 66 and a train. Right, so that's about it for there. We can possibly zoom on in. Visually, doesn't look any better, Google Earth, despite the features added on. I mean, it's 3D rendered, so you get an idea of the area, not exactly clear. I mean, is it possible to type in Salvation Army? Is that even possible? Salvation Army. Okay. The reason why I did that is just because when it came to the Christine Passe Parker missing person case, where she's supposedly sighted in Las Vegas after going from last seen in Battle Mountain, Nevada, going from one place to another and covering distance as well. But Christine could have been within the homeless community looking out for one another, but also being fed by Salvation Army soup kitchen, right? So I just thought maybe the same could apply here if there's homeless people within the area. But what we do need to do, I don't think there's any images though. Can we do Street View? Let's just see what this Salvation place is. Candies, pups and stuff, pet spa and hotel, pet cafe, pet boutique, all pink. What the hell am I looking at? Damn. Pups and stuff. That sounds a bit dodgy, that. What about the cats? The cats being ignored? Huh? So this is supposed to be Salvation Army, but instead it's pet grooming. Right, so maybe times have changed, possibly. Pet spa, bloody pet spa. Union Bank. Is there any indication of a Salvation Army within the area? What's that over there? Is there a food bank? Downtown, beer, liquor, right, alcohol. I don't see Salvation Army though. Whoa, where have we gone now? Oh, hang on a minute. All right, is that a homeless kid? I don't want to zoom in because it might seem a bit weird, but that person on the right-hand side of the screen, like sat down, is that a homeless person? I don't know. I don't want to zoom in though. 204th North 3rd for lease rent. Right, so maybe it was one Salvation Army and it's changed since. Or maybe it was once something and now Salvation Army. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't seem to give the date either. Plumbing. Oh, unclogging drains and stuff. Titan. Right, so I can't see Salvation Army, but it's worded as it on the map. So, bit misleading that. I just thought if it was some kind of Salvation Army soup kitchen or something, maybe homeless people would have gathered there, but it doesn't seem to be any more, or at the time it wasn't. Is there any homeless people on the sides? Not that you're going to come across Kenny Veach, but just get an idea of, is there a specific area within Barstow, as Heather described? Homeless guy, Very familiar looking, look like Kenny Veach. We've got some mannequins there, some dodgy clothing. Yeah. Oh God, that tile. Health hazard. That's going to slip off one day and it's going to be like Final Destination when someone walks underneath it. What else do we have? Clothes. Can only be something 24 hours. Security cameras on. So that's interesting because if the CCTV surveillance, which obviously there is within the area, any homeless people caught on camera, you check the footage out, maybe be able to identify or confirm. What have we got here? Oh, Native Americans. Ooh, some artwork going on there, haven't we? Is this to California in general? Native Americans, I'm not too sure. Interesting artwork. The eagles as well. Just wanted to share this with you, right? Just so you become familiar with the area. Maybe we can revisit it if need be in the future. Not come across any homeless people though. St. Paul's Episcopal Church. I don't know if Kenny Veach was religious or not. I mean, he was into spirituality, so... If you have just suddenly joined in the live premiere and wonder why we're looking here, be sure to rewind back to the beginning as context is clearly given, okay? If you have any places of interest or any suggestions with this area as to where Kenny Veach could be located at, let me know down below in the comment section, okay? Got some more artwork over there, the mountains, interesting. Bank of America. Some kind of abandoned building back there, boarded up. What that actually says. Right, I'll just try one last thing, if it will let me. Come on. Soup. I think I spelled that wrong. Did I have... no. Okay. Kitchen, restaurant. Yeah, they're just simply restaurants. I thought there might be one where they give like stuff out. Doesn't seem to be the case. Oh well. Just wanted to show you that. Can we measure the distance? Is that even possible? I don't even know how you would do it on here. Does it even have the option to measure? I don't think it does. Measure. Ah, there we go. So these could be very rough. Okay. Is that... Oh, it's in meters. Are you taking the piss? Do you know what? F this. I'm sick and tired of this already. You know, this map thing. Useless. So, you'll just have to convert it yourself on Google. Okay? Because I'm just not... Ah, there we go. You're going to do it, you little bastard? Go on, you little bastard. There you go. Dickhead. Very rough. Interestingly, it's actually not far from Vegas in a sense. Right, so that's clever. You measure it, you press done, and then it just deletes itself. Useless. But it was about, what was it, 127 miles or something? Or maybe a bit more. Okay, I think I went back and forth there because it keeps spazzing out the camera. About 150 miles from Las Vegas to Barstow, California, right? You can see that road, where it follows. Obviously it disappears because it's useless. Get off. Piss off. Right? This is the area, the sighting where Kenny Veach supposedly was in 2021, a homeless individual, as Heather claims. And following this yellow highway, it goes through Yermo, Harvard, you follow it up, eventually goes to Las Vegas in the distance. So just follow it along, in and out, like this. Why is it? Yeah. Follow it down, mountain pass. come round here, Wheaton Spring, and then you entering Las Vegas, as you can see here. So, possibility. If we do need to reinforce it in the future, we can do. I mean, how does Kenny Veach go from the Mojave Desert, Joe May Canyon, all the way down to Barstow, California? Well, basically, he could have been picked up by somebody and taken an alternative road all the way down to California. And then what, dropped off there and suddenly homeless when the person that gave him a ride from there to down there would have assisted and not just left him homeless? Well, I guess it depends. If it's 2021, Kenny Veach homeless in Barstow, California, it's, well, what happened 2014 onwards up to 2021 then? If in 2018 you got that supposed CCTV footage of Kenny in the break-in, and then 22 the phone call made, maybe in 2021, in between all that, at one point homeless, then after things worked out. I don't know, right? This is just trying to visualize the possibilities based off a supposed sighting, right? The key thing to understand would be there've been other reports of sightings of Kenny Veach, and it's not really come to much, right? And that's partially because people haven't gone out searching in those actual areas. So it remains uncertain. But I guess through maybe some kind of logical thinking and the evidence or material what we have or what's been found kind of points in, different directions away from these random claims by people. And even if that's not enough, take in mind with the Christine Passay Parker case, a missing woman out there in Battle Mountain, Nevada, and where else, who knows, Eugene Mountains, her vehicle found down there. But there is numerous reported sightings in that case, which is still ongoing and somewhat active and fresh, right? People in Las Vegas reporting that she was in the area. No one found of her. People saying elsewhere near Idaho, Boise or something. Not much happened there. Sighting, where is it now? Lake Tahoe. Not much came from that. All these potential sightings, Elko, Nevada, but turned out it wasn't her, it was somebody else, right? It's not really led to much. And that's an active case where people are actively searching, such as the friends, the family, spending time to go to these areas which have been requested by people who have potentially sighted the missing individual, but it didn't come to anything. So, not that it always ends that way, but that's kind of telling that these reported sightings don't always lead to much success, right? So with the Kenny Veach case of these people randomly coming out, oh, he's in Canada, oh, he's in New Mexico, oh, he's in France on a beach. Any proof, any real, true, hard proof? Unfortunately, not really the case. But someone like Heather, that supposedly saw somebody that had a striking resemblance to Kenny Veach, they sound like a genuine person reaching out, right? They don't sound like a degenerate. What they may have saw wasn't Kenny, but there was characteristics similar. Maybe in the mindset similar to people's perception on the CCTV footage of the break-in of Kenny Veach. Some people may feel strongly that it's not Kenny in that footage, but it does look very similar to Kenny if you look at it quick. Just like these different perspectives, everyone's going to think and see things differently, right? It's good of someone like Heather to reach out. Wasn't the most practical of ways, though, right? On a, not being rude, but a dead-end Facebook page where there's not much activity. But hopefully this video can push it out there so people watching right now are now aware of it. And if Susan Veach wants to share her thoughts as to possibilities of Barstow, California, homeless person that looks like Kenny, is it really Kenny? Or was it Kenny at the time? Heather seems to think so. The height seems to check out the same. It's just the hair that's a bit questionable, right? You could even argue and say sometimes potential sightings here, but then suddenly over there and then elsewhere could all be true if the person's constantly on the move. It all depends, right? Just wanted to present this to you. You can share your additional comments down below if you agree or not, or if you want to share your own knowledge of what you know. Okay, that'll be appreciated. What I do want to do now is go head on over to the comments of the previous video, okay? And just answer any questions if there need to be. See if there's any additional interesting information. Let's head on over now. Here we are. I'm just going to adjust it to the newest. Start from the bottom. Got Cleo saying, nice, Kenny thumbnail, appreciate that. Josh saying, but why didn't Kenny's sister want an investigation when he committed armed robbery at her store years after he went missing? I mean, all his fingerprints were all over the place. Now everyone is pretending confused. This is getting funny. Well, Josh, what are you talking about? An armed robbery? I mean, at least in the CCTV footage, was it classified as an armed robbery? I didn't see any, weapons in his hand at the time. He didn't seem to have a firearm or a knife with him, unless if he had a crowbar, which I couldn't quite see in the footage. Maybe he used the crowbar to pry open the window, the blinds, whatever, to break entry. Maybe that could be classified as armed, but normally armed robbery tends to be associated with someone with a usage of a firearm, using it to get what they want. And the person in the footage didn't seem to have, a firearm. So what are you referring to there, Josh? I don't understand. Andrew Culver strongly believes it wasn't Kenny Veach in the footage. I responded back, at least from what I remember, Debbie Veach didn't want police to push further, which is arguably suspicious. Though the reason why fingerprints weren't taken was due to the excuse too many customers contaminated the desk when buying stuff. And if you look back at the interview and you look at some additional responses and comments, it will make sense, and it does mention that, right? Josh says, yes, it was, and it was him committing armed robbery. Only those who believe in tooth fairies don't think it's him. Once again, armed robbery. Where's the armed factor? I didn't see that. This person saying maybe the pouch is a snake bite kit. You never know, possibility. That's with regards to the last video where we're looking at equipment of Kenny Veach. He had some brown little pouch with him all the way through the years 2011 up to 2014. Never knew what was inside of it though. Kind of interesting. Christy, very interesting video. Thank you. Waiting for the orange bag analysis. You're welcome. That will come. That will come eventually. I just want to get these little videos in between done so they don't get forgotten about, and then we go to the more harder hitting stuff, right? Glenn, thumbs up. Cleo, had to rewind once home. No problem. I watched. I learned. Thank you. You're welcome. Long thread. Uh-oh. Well, it's not too bad, I guess. We'll read it anyway. So Koba says, if we assume that Kenny wasn't alone at last video and we heard a female voice woman maybe changing angles of car mirrors was to hide his true mystery, a new partner, a new girlfriend who doesn't hike and you still might be alone in mountains, the one who awaits for call to come back in the car with ice cold water beer, the one whose identity would be recognized at once by the police, so needs to be kept in secret. Why? In my opinion, it is hard to disappear all by yourself. You may need help to vanish for good. True. Remember that Kenny had problems with paying off bank credit. His video about selling his house was so desperate he wanted to keep the house but needed money to pay off his debts. Unfortunately, Airbnb wasn't available back then. Pity as hell. Fair point that, yeah. Might have helped Kenny out if it was available at the time. Also remember that he quit his job or was sucked. Meanwhile, in my opinion, he probably met a girl. Maybe his disappearance had something to do with starting a new life without painful past. Well, how to do it. Story about M Cave in region which is known for mysteries near secret army base. He left his camera and phone not to be found, that is for sure. In my opinion, that was a plan from the beginning to vanish with help. I mean, it was said that he didn't take his camera with him, but an alternative camera was taken. So, yeah, the phone by the mine shaft, but where was the camera taken, I wonder? Of course, MK's story is so exciting that we all want is to find Kenny in it, best alive, and kick him. And that idea is playing with our minds. If you throw away the MK story, sadly, the theory about running away, in my opinion, possible. It needs plenty of planning. Kenny had plenty of time without a job and finally help from someone. I think that after failure of selling the house and his inventions, he decided to make a move, created a story about M Cave, and with help from someone, he just vanished for good. Wonder what was missing from his house after disappearance. He was very attached to his belongings. Souvenirs to vanish for good, and without anything from his precious house, there must be something that he took. It could be true. Hope he's fine and reading this and is loathing. Right. So the bit about did he take anything with him? Did he ever return back to his house? Well, from what Susan Veach said, that the brother Raymond Veach and some other guy was using Kenny's truck at the time after his disappearance and made a few trips to Kenny Veach's house, and they were taking items out of Kenny's house and then driving off. Who knows where to and why they were taking those items away? Was it because they were taking them to Kenny because that's what Kenny wanted? Who knows? Susan Veach in recent times said that there was reported sightings by neighbours within the area, the neighbourhood, that witnessed Kenny returning back to his house and taking things away after his disappearance. So, all these different possibilities, right? The theory mentioned by others, valid. Kenny could have had a new girlfriend because you look at the relationship pattern between Sharon Pilgrim and Kenny. 1 minute the girlfriend, boyfriend, then the friends, and then the girlfriend, then the friends, then they're not, then they are. A little bit confusing and all over the place, to be honest. So, who knows? Possibility. Jeff Clark saying Atari is a professional portrait artist, so the more she looked at the face of the robber, the more she realised it was not Kenny. Same with me, only I didn't do it with an artist eye. I did it with mathematic proportions. Yes, someone with a distinctive forehead could possibly change over a decade, but that would be if Kenny and the robber were even close. If they were close, I would never have even mentioned it, but they're not close. In fact, they're opposite of each other. Also, Raymond Veach never said that Kenny went back east to visit. I watched a HLN show and Ray said he thinks it was an accident due to overconfidence. And if Ray and Debbie know that Kenny hoaxed it and are in contact with him, why would Kenny need to break into a store that he knows has cameras? But at the same time, if Kenny Veach was to ever break into a store, which would be the most practical one? A store owned by the Veach family members, because they're more likely to be lenient on Kenny compared to Kenny breaking into a stranger's store who would seek justice immediately. You get what I'm saying? If you steal from family, they may be a bit more lenient with you compared to if you was to steal from a stranger. So, possibilities there. And the fact that the iPad was just left out on the side, literally left out on the side, and it looked like it was plugged in charging. That's a bit of a health hazard, that. You shouldn't be leaving things on charge overnight in a store where it could catch fire and set alight to the whole building. It seems a bit irresponsible that. It seems almost as if the iPad was intentionally put there, right? Makes you think. And the bit where you say Raymond Veach never said that Kenny went back east to visit. What do you mean? Are you saying that Raymond Veach never returned back to Kenny's house to take items away? Or are you saying that Kenny Veach himself didn't go east when hiking? I don't understand what you mean, Jeff. Anyway. Yeah, why was Debbie Veach so sure with herself that it didn't need to be investigated by police despite the burglary? Covering for someone, yep. Jeff Clark says, Debbie sounds like a spiritual hippie woman. Most likely she thought that prosecuting some poor robber would mess with her aura or karma, just like her ranting on about the dust being protecting angels. I think she's just like that. That's one way of looking at it, yes, being over spiritual. But in a way, Jeff Clark, whilst being spiritual, I think it was also done as like a business tactic to use bullshit and say, look at the dust, it's cleansing the aura, the negativity of whoever broke in, it's cleansing it all. And because it's a spiritual store and she sells items, it'll drum up business. People see that who are also just as delusional will think, oh my God, it's really working. I best go down there. And maybe there was a sale boost, possibly. Anything else? Interesting. Jeff saying to Josh, the face does not match, so it's not him. Who said that Debbie refused to have the fingerprints dusted? If she was going to refuse an investigation, then why call the cops at all? All I heard about fingerprints is what Raf said. Many employees and customers touched the same areas. Yep. Josh, tell me what Kenny's alias is. I know. Do you? What, his nickname? Well, at least on the Namus report, it didn't give a nickname. Yeah, so was it the police directly saying we can't do fingerprints? Well, at least what Debbie said, right, at least from an interview, she didn't want to push any further. She didn't want to seek justice or anything like that. What's happened has happened. Easygoing person, maybe, through spirituality and being very open-minded, or being lenient because she knows who it is and she wants, to protect that person. Different ways of looking at it, right? I mean, just in life in general, it would have happened other times where a family member may have stolen from another family member, right? So it can happen. Jeff says, Susan Veach keeps telling me that she knows all these family members and she knows that Ray and Debbie know more and she knows extra facts. All I say to all that is, okay, prove something. If I knew Ray and Debbie and I used to be related to them and I suspected that they were involved in such a hoax, I would go visit them and ask them to explain away my suspicion. Doesn't that sound like the easiest, the most logical course of action in the situation? To an extent, it would make sense. But if you're reaching out to someone who you see as very suspicious and they may be covering for someone, if you go in like a bull in a china shop and confront them and question, likely they're going to deny it. And maybe afterwards, because they feel that you're onto them, they'll probably end up moving on or moving things about. So it would kind of ruin the whole, thing, operation, you want to call it, or investigation. Jeff saying to Josh, my reply keeps getting deleted, not sure what I'm saying they don't like. So YouTube do delete comments, in case you're wondering. I have no control over it on my channel. Deleted by who? The only person that can delete comments is the guy running the channel. Josh, you impetuous default profile. If you understood Josh and you bothered actually watching my previous videos, you would understand that YouTube has control regardless. YouTube has the power to put adverts on videos even if you're not monetized, such as Snakebit McGee's Kenny Veach's M-Cave hike video, right? Just like how Kenny Veach's last known comment before going missing on that son of Area 51 worker, that whole comment and thread all deleted, nowhere to be seen anymore. The list goes on and on and on. YouTube does some weird things at times. YouTube will allow dodgy comments, bot accounts, fake accounts, scams, but they'll punish a general public person leaving a normal comment. It makes no sense, but that's YouTube in a nutshell. Jeff Clark, there are things that happen with the major channels in this mystery. No one is ever able to explain why. That's true. But once again, Josh saying, tell me what Kenny's alias is. I know what it is. Well, if you know what it is, feel free to explain. What did I say here? Feel free to spread awareness and share this video as well. Once again, if you're satisfied with this video to an extent or you just want more people to see it, feel free to like, share this video, leave some comments down below to get the engagement up so then YouTube acknowledges it and then it can be pushed out to the general public even more to keep the case alive, active, and see what other people think about these possible sightings, okay? Christy, could you please post the link to Kenny Veach's channel? So I did provide it in the live chat last time, but if you didn't see it, basically what I'll do, Christy, if you're in the live chat tonight, I'll check myself and I'll provide you the link there. And if not, I'll just simply provide the link in my own video comment section, right? Mayor Nan, the roll in his backpack looks like an Ensolite foam sleeping pad. Okay, interesting. Thanks for leaving that comment. I think another person said something like that. So I guess it's likely, right? Maybe it makes more sense to be using some kind of foam pad rather than some kind of inflatable because it's resting on a rock or sharp object. It could pierce and deflate, possibly. Angelina saying knee braces are very helpful because of the many miles of uneven ground he's walking. The new ones are just more expensive. I think I've seen that brand in medical supply stores. Medical related. So that could further reinforce Kenny Veach's previous leg injury. And he just wants to protect his legs for the future of his other hikes. Okay, interesting. I'm responding back to Mayor Nan. As for the backpack and the orange bag, we will be looking at that in another future video, right? Because there's some links to be made with a previous hike and findings there. Cleo, analysed perfectly well. I really enjoyed the compare and contrast with pictures. They're very clear. That's good to know. Appreciate that. 58-minute mark. Yes, I felt Kenny was a daredevil, yet he's very hesitant, seems afraid. As he said, Harry, I'm not going here or up there. Very different behaviour for sure. Agree on some of his comments. Thank you, Susan. Dale saying timestamp 23-minute mark 4 seconds on Kenny's right hip. Is that a firearm or a tree trunk from behind him? It's blurry and I had to be sure, but could be. I'll have to look back at that. I can't really play the video right now. Or could I? Do you know what? I'm going to try and do it. It's probably not a good idea, this. Right, so I tried rewinding back at the correct timestamp or so, and I do think it's likely some kind of vegetation in the background, right? Yeah. Ben, okay, Ben, saying someone asked Sharon Pilgrim about her charities on East Coast that was shut down. I don't trust her. Is this recent, Ben? Or is this to do with the previous research I did in the past? I can't remember myself, but let me know, Ben. So she's got charities, or once had charities, East Coast, now shut down. Why is that? I mean, asking her about it, she might not give the right answer. Depends, could be biasness, but I wonder if any research can follow from there. We'll see. Josh, background check for Kenny Veach, age 56. What, at this moment in time? I'm keeping his alias private, right? Shows he has recent lawsuits and an updated address on E. Harmon Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89122. Keeping address and unit numbers private. Fair enough, that's good of you to do that. This isn't someone who is dead. It's obvious creditors know where he is. I even have a new cell phone number listed under his alias. Didn't I say this was all a scam and people are fools searching for the M cave that doesn't exist? Well, with the information you have, Josh, is there any way to go forwards from here in the right direction, I wonder? It'd be interesting to see what people watching this video right now think about this comment by Josh. I mean, maybe we can search the area up briefly to see what it looks like. Is that it? Reply. Josh says, I've been watching you since 2021 regarding the case. You do an amazing job, and I'm here to help stir up because we're being lied to, we're being played, and they're getting off watching all these videos about Kenny and love the attention. The answers are in that CCTV footage and Las Vegas metro area, not in the desert. All his MK videos were fabricated as a backstory. I'm not buying any of it. Keep up the good work. So I appreciate that. I'll continue. I'll do what I can, and maybe I'll try and put into perspective and maybe a singular video regarding the address you showed, providing it's all public and all that, and no issues there. I'll see what Susan Veach thinks as well about it. But yeah, it's good that you've been watching the videos since 2021. And I guess you've watched most of them too. Seen the progress of how things have played out. Yeah, maybe it's taken time, but you know, I would say a little bit of progress has been made in a way, and maybe greater progress can be made if at a certain point in time you end up piecing everything together and arranging it in a certain order. It might make more sense, filling in a puzzle piece. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave comments down below if you do have any questions or additional points you want to fill in blank spots. And yeah, be on the lookout for the next video whenever that comes. I said feel free to share the video to spread awareness on the case, keep things alive, and see how hungry people are at the end of the day. So hopefully you learned something new. Maybe it's put some new things into perspective, the whole homeless idea. I know Scott Natal tried searching about Las Vegas in 2021. The homeless community of Kenny Veach was somewhere in those areas. Turned out not to be the case, but who knows? Maybe in a different place like Barstow, California. If Heather is still around, feel free to leave your comment down below. What do you think? And Susan Veach, what do you think of this video and what was talked about? Is there any points you want to add in or any things you want to disagree with or counter? Feel free to do so. Be sure to check my previous videos as well for those that have come along over time, and playlists too. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye. Good night.